think we are live and ready to go. So, Scott, thank you so much for being here. For those who don't know you, do you want to quickly introduce yourself, what you write about, who you are, and yeah, let us know.
Sure. So my name is Scott Perry, and for the folks that are here, the thing that's probably most interesting about me is that I publish a Substack called Creative on Purpose, and it's a Substack where I talk about where the art of living meets work that matters, and try to help people forge meaning and build identity through doing the work that they're meant to do, doing work that matters to them with people that they care about. And yeah, I've had a long career as a musician, and I was a coach in Seth Godin's online programs for many years. But for the last 3 years, Substack and the community I'm building there and the work that I do with the folks there is my primary endeavor.
Cool. Yeah, super nice. And today we're basically, so I called this Substack live, how to launch your book, because I know in my community, and for people who are listening, maybe you could let us know in the chat if you're actually also, if you're writing a book, if you're launching a book. So I'm not, so that's I'm happy that you're here, Scott, because it's something that I know my community, like a lot of people do. They write their memoirs, they want to bring that out. So yeah, I know people are interested in it, and as I don't have experience, I think it's super cool that we're talking today, and you can let people know a little bit about your own process. I don't know if it's your first book that you've launched or how many books you've launched so far.
Yeah, so this is I've lost count of how many books that I've published. They calling them books is maybe sounds a little overly generous because they tend to be plus or minus 100 pages or so. The current book is called Intrepid: Dare to Make a Difference. Do you care
Cool.
enough? It and
Yeah.
the way that I think the first part of your question is like, should I even write a book? Because there are digital marketers and online gurus that say, oh, you have to have a book. It's authority building. It's how you grow an audience. It becomes your business. Like many of those things can be true,
Mhm.
but they're not. It's not a necessary. Like you should not be considering writing a book unless you really want to write a book, unless you feel called to write a book. If you do, the things that have worked for me in general before I launched just primarily on Substack is testing what I want to write about for interest and viability with my audience. So I basically will create a sales page about the book. This is the book that I'm want to write. This is what it looks like. This is what it's about. And if I get a minimum viable audience that says, yeah, I would definitely read that and actually purchase the book, then I am on the hook to write the book. And I am able to write books fairly quickly because, when people say, how do you write a book? And just the Intrepid was written in 14 days. It was written during an extended break from school. We take care of our grandsons full time, and my daughter-in-law is a school teacher. We had a lot of snow here in Southwest Virginia. There was no school for 2 weeks. I was going a little stir crazy. I had this idea for a book. I decided, well, rather than just be bored out of my mind watching the fireplace, I'll write a book. And
Well,
people say, you can't write a book in 14 days. It's like, well, I've been writing a book for 62 years. I just typed it in 14 days.
yeah.
And so, if I would just encourage people to, if you feel called to write a book, make sure that there's folks that are asking you or are interested in what you're writing.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other piece is deciding like how you're going to go about the launch. I'm not a big believer in big flashy launches. My books all have sold well enough to be Amazon bestsellers, but
Oh,
they
great.
sell they sell enough to copies every month, to make a decent side income. And so it's not really so much about the launch and making a big splash for me as it is
Cool.
getting the word out, and
Mm.
you're being very helpful. I mean, there's people
Mhm.
in your audience that probably don't have any idea who I am, that may get introduced to me and my work, that may get introduced to the idea behind Intrepid and become
Mhm.
interested. and that therefore purchase it. So in the
Yeah.
past, I figured out how to get a bestseller on Amazon. I also
How
uh,
can I ask a little bit more specific? I don't know how much you want to get into it, but so because it's, for example, Robin also just said I published an ebook on Amazon in 2022. How do you get to be a bestseller? What does that mean? And also, do you want to share a bit, if you say decent sized income, can you give us a ballpark what that means and what you need to get there? Like, do you need like to sell, I don't know, 10,000 books a month? Because for me, that world is new and I find it super interesting. And I'm sure my audience will find that interesting as well.
it takes surprisingly few purchases to become an Amazon bestseller. I think
Mhm.
my last 3 books that have been Amazon bestsellers all sold, about 100 copies on launch day, so that's not an
Mhm.
enormous amount, and they all earned a bestseller badge, and maintained that status for several weeks, several months.
Mhm.
Um, Again, it's a lot about when it comes to launching and getting the bestseller badge, it's mostly making sure that you are letting the folks that already know, like, and trust you and are following you, let them know you're writing a book and get them ready for launch day to make that purchase then.
Mhm.
And then, what I another thing that I've done, and this I think this speaks specifically to my Substack strategy because I have not launched this book on Amazon yet. I
Mhm.
wanted to see I wanted to run an experiment, like, what happens if I go all in on Substack? So I'm publishing on Lulu, which is a
Mhm.
self-publishing platform that I have been very happy with, and basically what I did was ahead of the launch, I took I reached out to my paid subscriber community and said, "Here's the book I'm writing. This is what it's about. If you're interested in helping me make the book the best book it can be by reviewing it and providing feedback before it publishes, and agree to do a little, uh, provide a little assistance with promoting the book when it launches, I'll send you a free copy."
Mhm.
And so 15 people raised their hand. I got lots of great feedback on the book, which made it a much better book to begin with. And they all started talking about the book on Substack, sharing my notes, sharing my
Mhm.
posts, making
Cool.
comments, letting restacking the posts and sending the posts to people in their circle.
Mhm.
So on
Does
launch
it
day,
matter? Does it matter if how much revenue it brings in to become a bestseller that day, or just like 100 sells for whatever, like 99 cents or so?
yeah, well, I've never gamed the system that way. I mean, yes,
Okay.
you can sell your book for 99 cents and you'll get a lot of sales. Um,
But
I
does
think
that,
you have to,
yeah.
and it does count.
Okay.
Discounted book sales, at least they have in the past on Amazon, do count towards your overall book sales.
Mhm.
Um, Amazon doesn't allow you to give your book away. To my knowledge, Lulu doesn't either. Um,
Mhm.
I've never really gamed the system that way. I feel like
Mhm.
you have to decide. I'm just not a big fan of scale for scale's sake. Like, there's
Mhm.
no good reason for me to sell 100 books to people that will not even open and read them.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's much more important to me. I'd rather sell 10 books to 10 people that actually read them and engage with me in my work.
Yeah.
So I think that's for everybody to decide for themselves. But with Intrepid, 15 people helped me make the book the best book possible, helped me promote it. I sent them multiple copies as
Mhm.
part of, and without, as kind of like a surprise. And that way they have a book for themselves and a
Mhm.
book and books to share. And it helps build the reviews. It helps build
Yeah.
some, collective momentum and get the word out. And
Mm.
again, the revenue, when you ask how much revenue are you making, my standard answer is I make enough in book sales every month to take my wife out to dinner. Sometimes it's McDonald's, and sometimes it's a 5-star restaurant serving
Okay.
Italian cuisine.
Yeah.
I don't put a lot of energy into into the books, promoting the books beyond the initial sales. So I let the algorithm kind of decide what the long-term future is.
Yeah. I
Because
like
what happens is when you launch, when you get that initial hit in active, engaged readers, you're going to find that you're plenty busy just helping them with, whatever your paid subscriber community offer is, whatever your back end
Yeah.
coaching or consulting or mastermind offers are, and so forth. So I am plenty busy right now,
Mm.
just taking care of the 100 or so people that bought it the day it launched.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And how many, you said you lost count, but roughly how many books do you have in store that people can buy?
I think I think right now on Amazon, I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 or 10. It might be as high as 12.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
but the primary Intrepid fits very neatly in what I call the a trilogy, uh, which includes Endeavor and Onward,
Mm.
and they're books that are really helping people that are purpose driven, that know they're called to make a bigger difference and have a bigger impact, get out of their own way, get going, and actually live a life that's more meaningful, more fulfilling, more prosperous, and more purpose driven.
Yeah. I like that. We have a question from Robin. She said, have you done any more promotions post launch? Or do you really just do promotions pre launch? I edit them.
I well, I look at it as I'm promoting the book for the 2 weeks before publication day and 2 weeks after publication day. There's a little bit of lead up to that 2 week preview window and a little bit of an extended promotion after the 2 week big push. Um, Part of it is I just don't want, like, spending 4 weeks really heavily promoting something to your list
Mm.
is plenty. Like, your list, you'll hit everybody that wants your
Yeah.
book that window. You don't have to push it at them forever.
Yeah.
Occasionally, what I will do is, like, for my birthday or a natural holiday kind of thing, I'll say, "Hey, just in case you've forgotten about it, Intrepid is still available." And oftentimes what I'll do is I'll just host a call around the book, like, "Hey, if you look at Intrepid now, you will feel like it's a different book because you are a different person in a different place in the arc of your journey.
Yeah.
Let's jump on a call and talk about where you're at now and how can I help you get closer to where you're going now, as opposed to when
Yeah.
you first read the book."
That's very cool. Can we see it one more time, your book?
Sure.
It must be, I love that. So intrepid, dare to make a difference. Do you care enough to commit? That's so cool. I think the feeling of holding your own books and of your own book in your hand, that must be a great one.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's pictures in my notes feed of my grandsons helping
Mm.
me box the books, and my 4-year-old is holding the book and looking really excited, and my 8-month-old is eating the book because everything that he holds goes in his mouth right now. But um, yeah,
That's-
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, even if you're not necessarily writing a book to promote your business, like you said, like, what if you just want to write your memoir? What if you just are aspiring to write a novel or a short story or what have you? There is something still really magical about a
Mhm.
physical book that you're holding in your hands with, your name on it, that
Yeah.
you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into. And it's a way of standing up to be seen, speaking up to be heard, and saying to the right people, "Here, I made this for you."
Yeah.
And it's super fulfilling, whether it's 10 readers or 100 readers, when you start to get the feedback of how the book has impacted people.
That's so cool. Yeah. I have another question in terms of self-publishing versus publishing uh, agencies. I don't know, like the bigger companies. Like, it's really not my world. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that. Have you tried to publish with like a bigger company, or did you always want to self-publish? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I've personally only self-published. One of my earlier books, for those that might be familiar with Michael Bungay Stanier, his most famous book is The Coaching Habit.
Mhm.
Um, But Michael wrote an earlier book that did publish with a publisher, did very well, was a bestseller. When he wrote The Coaching Habit, his publisher didn't want it and no other publisher wanted it. And he
Mm.
really believed in the book. And so he self-published The Coaching Habit and just promoted it himself on podcasts. And he wrote a beautiful, brilliant article on how to self-promote and self-publish a book.
Mm.
And he's someone that has blurbed other books of mine and is a friend and has, provided a lot of insight.
Mm.
And I just decided, I don't see any good reason to prostrate myself and invest the time, attention, money, and effort into trying to get somebody else to love what I'm doing as much as I do. So
Mm.
I've gone the self-publishing route. I have had recently someone reach out based on Intrepid and say, "Hey, I would be interested in talking to you about, you know, republishing this book with us, maybe the entire series." I'm not opposed to investigating or exploring that, but I also I'm in a better position because I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
If decide that it serves me and my goals, then maybe. Um,
Mm.
but I think it's really important for solopreneurs. Like, you cannot win if you are playing someone else's game by their rules. You have to, if you're going to win on your terms, you're going to have to play your game on your terms without compromise. So decide early on which game you want to play, and no judgment if you want to do whatever it takes to get somebody else to publish your book. But
Yeah.
I certainly don't think it's necessary to have a successful book out in the
Mm.
world that's helping you get closer to what you want through the books
Yeah.
published.
Yeah. I actually, I mean, I have quite a few people in my community who came to me and said like, "Hey, I want to publish my book. That's, my whole goal. It could be memoirs or educational content, but either way, so it's a book or fictional." And they said they talked to, and I've heard this story so often already. They talk to publishing companies, and those companies they go back and say like, "Hey, before you have email list of 5, 10, 15,000 people, we're not even interested in talking to you." And I find that so crazy. I mean, again, like it's not my world. I've never had any contact. I don't write books, but I find that insane that people, like that's now I don't know, it seems to be a standard response from those companies.
I have heard the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And again, like, you have to decide which game you want. I am not on any legacy social media platform. I
Mm.
have only, I have 1,000 subscribers to my Substack. So no publisher is going that believes that I have to I have to provide the book. Like, they're going to publish the book and take their cut if I provide them with buyers. I'm not interested in that deal to begin with, but
Yeah.
to go through the extra effort of, well, now I have to get 15,000 people to subscribe to my Substack,
Mm.
is not the game I want to play. And again, the message I would share with everyone is you don't have to do any of that to have a successful book in the world. It depends on what your definition of success is. If you want to actually have an impact and change people's lives through sharing your story or your ideas,
Mhm.
you can do that very easily with a very small list and without any social media whatsoever, by
Mm.
just being intentional about how you're approaching that and having integrity about how you get the word out and how you connect the book with the people that would benefit most from colliding with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for those people who are interested, or who are writing a book or who are want to publish it, I do think it's actually not a bad strategy at all to come on to Substack, build your own community, build your email list, and then you can still decide if you actually want to self-publish or go with a company. But either way, if you build that email list, it's your audience, and you can just like you, Scott, what you're doing, you can, go share your book with your own audience. So yeah, I think coming onto Substack if you write a book is actually a pretty good idea.
I Substack is where readers go to connect with ideas that
Yeah.
and people that are interesting to them. And so your best chance at finding the best possible audience right now, in my mind, is Substack. Like if you're trying to promote a book on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, the people are not there to connect with big ideas and to do deep research into things that matter to them.
Yeah.
Facebook is primarily a distraction platform, and Instagram then are primarily promotional platforms. And
Yeah.
unless your book is helping someone promote themselves on LinkedIn or Instagram, you're probably not going to sell a lot of books there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Alright. So maybe in the last couple of minutes, do you want to tell us a little bit more about Intrepid? Claire also just said Team Intrepid. Like, tell us more about the book.
Yeah, so Claire is a member of the community and a member
Mhm.
of Team Intrepid, which is the 15 folks that have been helping me make the book a better book and get the word out.
Yeah.
Um, Intrepid basically asks one question 27 different ways as a way of holding a mirror up to yourself, to help you clarify what's the difference that I actually want to make in the world. How do I test that and build interest in the work that I want to do and feel that I'm called to do, and then craft a path that also allows you to create and cultivate the necessary commitment. So whether your goal is to write a book or whether your goal is to achieve a certain number of subscribers on Substack or a bestseller badge, or if you want to change, the way people think about things that matter to you around the environment or politics or social ideas,
Mhm.
um, you're signing up for something that's going to end up being a lot harder than you think it is at the beginning. And so what
Mhm.
Intrepid does is it helps you decide, do the hardest part first, which is, am I going to commit to the long haul that's required to make this, achieve this aspiration or solve this problem? Because if you're not, quit now rather
Mm.
than waste a lot of time, money, and effort and
Yeah.
then quit in the middle. And then once you have landed on an idea that is worth the effort and worth the investment of your most precious resources around time, attention, money, and effort, it
Mm.
helps you craft the most effective and efficient path to collapsing time to target and maintain your commitment through the inevitable hardships and uncertainty and challenges that lie ahead. And
Mm.
fundamentally, it's also a book about the value of community and of finding fellow travelers. Claire is one of the people that's part of Team Intrepid. We are a
Mm.
group of people that are committed to working together to make things better, not just for ourselves, but for the people that we seek to help and support. And we do that by supporting and encouraging and helping each other along the way. And
Wow, I love that.
I know you write a lot about AI. As AI continues to take away a lot of the work that can be taken away by AI, which might include writing a book.
Mm.
The things that matter most are the way that you show up in the world and your ability to connect with the right people in the right way about and do the things that AI can't do, which is
Yeah.
create empathy and integrity and community and forward direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love AI. I write a lot about AI, but the one thing I also always say is that, the more you show up as being human and real and authentic on Substack or anywhere in life, really, the more this becomes your superpower because AI is changing the world, but you can take it as, as a change for yourself to just connect more
Well,
with people again.
there's a disclaimer in the book that says
Mm.
I used AI to help me write this book because I did. I'm not saying that every word is still mine, but
Mhm.
I used, AI has powerful tools that helped me structure the book, that helped me
Yeah.
refine, each chapter and then help me do the structural edit and the line edit and the,
Yeah.
the final. It's a much better book for having used AI, but I didn't allow it to replace the things that are fundamentally me, which is my ideas and my way of speaking and showing up and connecting and
Yeah.
share these ideas. So, like, yes, it's a both and situation. AI is not the enemy of writers. Um,
Yeah.
if you don't want to use it, don't use it. If you want to use it in a way that allows you to do what you do
Mhm.
better and more effectively and efficiently.
Yeah. I love that. Scott, we've already chatted for 25 minutes. Thank you so much for coming on. Maybe one last thing. Where can people find you, find your book? Anything else you'd like to share?
Sure. The best way to connect with me and the book is to go to the Creative on Purpose Substack, which is creativeonpurpose.substack.com. Uh, the most recent posts all are about the ideas in the book and how to get the book. It's if you decide to purchase the paperback, you get the ebook and the audiobook and a reader guide as part of the package. And you'll also be joining a conversation with a bunch of people just like you that are striving to be and do more and better without shame and suffering.
I love that. Awesome. Then thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a wonderful Wednesday, everyone. Take
Thanks
care.
so much, Claudia. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.